This video will show you 3 pre-life agreements that you made before you were alive that you may have forgotten of. I'm going to share with you ways of remembering this so that you're really able to be who you prefer to be and also able to expand your awareness. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you those 3 pre-life agreements that you made that you totally forgot about. But part of the purpose is, and maybe one of the things this video can do for you, is to allow you to remember those agreements that you've made. Now, this also has to do with understanding the grander aspect of who we are at a deeper level. And I believe that when we tap into this, it feels really good. It feels really good because we're in a way merging back with our soul. We're merging back with who we really prefer to be. And that from that point going forward, everything in life seems so much easier. So the first part of this is understanding that the main purpose of our life, even though we might think our purpose is to, be a lawyer, our purpose is to do something specific, even though all of that, the main purpose of everyone's life, I believe, is to awaken to the fact that they are an immortal spiritual being having a temporary human experience. Now, when we're born on earth, the idea is that what we do is we forget who we are. We forget who we are at a deeper level because if we knew who we really were, it wouldn't make the experience as rich as it could possibly be. Now, I originally posted a video very similar to some of these ideas. I got such great feedback that I'm kind of making and adding on to that with this video. And one of the things people said was I could see that a lot of people felt like the pain that they went through in life, that this was negating all of that, saying, why would I choose to be here and why would I choose to forget all of this of who I naturally are? Well, understand that with this process of forgetting who we are, there's a lot of times a lot of pain that comes with that. There were also a lot of people in that video that assumed that I've had this great life and that I've had everything handed to me in my life and I've never been through pain. Now, I believe that a lot of people on the path of spiritual awakening have been through an immense amount of pain because sometimes that causes the pressure in order for us to then break outside of that and want to understand more. Now, those of you who've been watching my channel know that I've talked about this a couple times, but when I was growing up, I was abused by my ex-stepmom. She, between the ages of like 7 to 15, she was very abusive. She was also sometimes very manipulative, so there was a psychology to it as well, to where we had to constantly shift the way we were being manipulated. And I wasn't allowed to have friends, wasn't allowed to really eat that much, I was real malnutrition. And at the age of 15, then all of a sudden I had all this freedom. And for years, it was great to have the freedom at 15, but nonetheless, there was still an underlying sense of resistance and of resentment. And it was until I was able to really forgive and really go, that led me to my spiritual awakening, which is where I learned a lot of this information that I'm sharing with you right now. And it's where I became aware that everyone is an immortal spiritual being having a temporary human experience, and that when we begin to tap into this, everything begins to change because we start to see ourselves different, if we redefine all the pain in our life, and that because of that, that's where we really expand our awareness. But we must come here and we must forget who we are in order to then remember who we are. And I used this analogy in the last video as well. Imagine a video game. You're logged into a video game, and if you knew that it was just a video game, you might just mess around, you might not really take it serious, you might not get that much out of it. But if you were to actually go into a video game and think that that was who you are, you would take it much differently. You would treat it in a completely new way because of how you relate to it. So in the same way, that's one of the purposes of life on earth, is that we forget who we are at a deeper level. We forget that we're an immortal spiritual being having a temporary human experience, because it makes everything much more interesting. And we can go through the process, through the layers of remembering who we are, and that's part of life. And sometimes that pain is there to cause the pressure for us to break out of it. And on the other side of it, it's such a paradox, because on the other side of it, there's amazing things that happen. I'd say that a lot of the pain I went through growing up spawned my spiritual awakening, and on the other side of that is there's so much benefit to it. There's so much positive emotion that comes from it because I've learned how to observe my thoughts, I've learned how to meditate, I've learned how to really get to more of the core of who I am. So the second pre-life agreement you made that you may have totally forgot of has to do with creating your own reality. Now, not everyone does this consciously, but we all have the ability to choose what we experience in our life through our choices and our state of being. So this means that when we become more aware that we create our own reality, we can then start to observe our thoughts in a completely new way. And this completely changed my life, because I became aware that anything I was feeding my energy into that wasn't serving me was something that was holding me back from me being really who I prefer to be. So the key to this was me learning how to observe my thoughts, learning how to put my focus in the direction of what I want. I realized that whatever I put my focus on will grow in my life. So I become much more aware of that, and I realize that then, yes, there is a correlation between my thoughts and what I get out of my life. And I believe that we made an agreement that we were going to create our own reality, whether consciously or unconsciously, but at a certain point, especially if you're watching this video, you may be becoming aware that you are creating your own reality, or at least see certain things in your life. Maybe you see certain number patterns, because you realize that whatever you focus on, whatever your RAS, the reticular activating system in your brain, is focusing on, you are then seeing more of. You can start to see these number synchronicities, which showing you that there are certain patterns to what we focus on, showing you that anything you focus on will grow. So you can become much more aware that you do create your own reality, and from that point of view is where everything can begin to change. And most of the videos on this channel right now are on the law of attraction, understanding how our beliefs create our reality, and how when we change what we believe to be true, everything changes on the external. So if you guys want more, you can check out this channel. There's a whole bunch of videos that are specifically on that. And the third thing that we agreed to that we totally forgot about, and now this is something that at a mass consciousness level that we agreed to all together, and that has to do with understanding there is an awakening going on the planet right now in this lifetime. And if you're watching this video, there is an awakening that is happening on the planet. There are many people going through spiritual awakenings. There are many people becoming aware of the correlation between what we think and what we experience in our life. And I personally believe that right now on the planet is the best time to ever be alive in the history of our planet, because there is more transformation to be happening in this lifetime than ever before. And I believe that at a deeper level, we knew this when we came here onto Earth. Now, if you want more on this, there are amazing books by someone named Dolores Cannon, who's actually passed away, but she was a hypnotherapist who created something called the QHHT technique, which is the quantum hypnosis healing technique. Basically what she did is, since the 1970s, she's been able to get people to what's called a symbiotic state of being, which means that she puts them into this deep level of hypnosis. And what happens is people go into this deep level state hypnosis that where a lot of times they won't even completely remember what happened. Sometimes they do consciously remember, sometimes they don't. But basically, people using this technique, she would do this on people, and people's subconscious mind would come through. And she has done this to thousands of people. She has taught this technique to thousands of other people, and they have done it. And it's very interesting what comes through, because sometimes the people that are being hypnotized don't necessarily remember what they said, but it's on auto recording, and it's like coming out of their own mouth of what they're saying. And they'll ask questions about the talking to the subconscious mind, talking to the higher self, asking why this person incarnated at this time, asking what was the purpose of this person in their life, even though it may have been something very painful, or why did this happen, or who is this person at a deeper level, like who is the soul. And very interesting, through thousands of different people, they have said that one of the reasons, or the main reason they came to Earth, is because there is more transformation to be had in the next 20 to 30 years than ever before, everywhere in the universe. Now, this is something that has come through so many times, she has 17 different books, they're all transcripts, so many different times, that it seems to me that it just resonates. It also seems to me that I believe that one of my purposes in life is to be here right now, to be helping and going through the process of transformation on the planet, to be going through awakening. And I think that that's something that maybe you feel deep within you. Maybe you feel called to teach and to help people and to share your ideas. I believe that synchronicity in life is a natural state of who we are, and that if you find yourself watching this video, it may be that this is something you are either ready to hear or you already vibe with. So I believe that this is the type of awakening. I believe that if you're here right now, you may also be somebody that can help spread this information in your own way, if it resonates with you. That maybe you're somebody that knows that you are creating your own reality in some way or another, and that as you really tap into this, you're tapping into more of who you are, and you are remembering who you are at a deeper level. You are remembering that you forgot this soul connection that you have to a larger part of yourself, that you are not only the drop in the ocean, but you are also the ocean in the drop. We are all connected. We are all one. And part of our life is to remember this. Now, I've created a free MP3 meditation that will help you raise and transcend your vibrational state of being. This will help you to re-tap into more of your soul, re-tap into more of who you are, and in that state of being, you can find out so much more about who you really are at a deeper level. So I've created this free MP3 meditation. You can download it in the description box below. And other than that, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you guys liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Also, hit that little notification gear so that you guys can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, I will see you guys on the next vid. Peace, much love, and namaste.